Welcome to the Beyond Electric Sheep podcast. I'm Brick Thompson.
And I'm Ed Daniels.
Ed, today I wanted to talk about something you mentioned, which is an idea you have. I think you're writing an article or wrote one about how AI might actually help democracies and support democracy. What are your thoughts there?
I think there's some potential to preserve our democratic republic method of government, but yet assist it with artificial intelligence. And I have a couple of different references for my thoughts on this. One is from a guy named Dave Shapiro, who I like his YouTube articles and his method of systematic thinking. And he's been writing about how government works and how you could automate some of those governmental processes. And then there's another article, though, that I read, which is about a little more micro-focused about using AI sort of in a way that's similar to something you've talked about, Brick, previously, which is to record, interpret, and document meetings. And so I put these things together, and I think there's something there about how AI could help with democracy and governing without usurping the ultimate power of the people.
Okay. All right, so I want to understand this. So I can imagine scenarios where you could use AIs to help do things like things that we see the Fed do. Help your economy not fluctuate as much.
Right.
You could use it in law. You could use it to run infrastructure. You could use it to do planning. I can see all that. There's obviously risks and things you have to deal with there. I mean, what if it does a bad job? What if it has bias built in? What if a bad actor somehow tweaks it? But let's assume that you can handle those things. And I think that could help government work better. But how does that help preserve democracy?
Well, that's where this article that I read a while back and I'm rereading about recording meetings and transcribing meetings comes in, because what is democracy? Democracy is, in its ultimate form, like Vermont or wherever the best model of this is a town hall. All the people from the town come together. They discuss a particular challenge. Should we put a bridge over this river, or should we expand the airport? Whatever. All the individual people pipe in, give their thoughts and opinions. Somebody perhaps organizes the meeting well enough to share information about whatever the proposed project is, and then ultimately the people call a vote, or whoever's running the meeting calls a vote, and you make a decision and then move forward from there.
Yeah, so it's sort of the ideal of democracy. If you
Right.
can do that at scale, it's great. So how does the recording and transcribing support that?
Well, these meetings happen, and they're difficult to pull off logistically. You get the meeting together, not everybody gets to give their input.
It's a small group.
Yeah.
I mean, what if the population that care? What if you're trying to decide on something that affects 2 million people?
Right.
How do you do it?
Right, but how do you get input from all the different subsegments of the population? Or let's think of them as neighborhoods. This neighborhood, that neighborhood, they all have a different idea. These guys want to see the airport expanded because their businesses will thrive,
Right.
but these guys have their neighborhood in the path of the proposed runway.
Okay.
Right? So these guys are a little upset. These guys are really excited. How often does that conversation really happen and be able to percolate up to a higher level, then be fed back down again until ultimately something a little closer to consensus is arrived at than
that's
it is
interesting.
today?
Okay, I'm starting to get it now. Light bulb is maybe not full blast, but I'm getting it that using AI, you could collect opinions from literally millions of people in detail. Maybe you have an AI that can do surveys or have a conversation. Then somehow you have to, I think part of the beauty of the town hall is you come to the town hall meeting with an opinion, you hear other opinions, yours starts to change a little bit, you express your slightly changed opinion, the whole thing sort of happens organically, hopefully you end up in a good place. there could be a way to use an AI to cause that to happen, but man, that seems tricky.
I guess you have to ask how well it's working today. It's not working that great today in my experience. Maybe it is on a smaller level.
Well, in the U.S.,
but
it's not great right now. I mean, stuff happens, and actually, I think there's an argument to be made that government not doing a lot of stuff is better maybe than doing too much stuff. We have weirdness in our House of Representatives right now where it seems super dysfunctional. The population as a whole, I wonder if something like that would help, especially if you still have something like the Electoral College as opposed to popular vote. How do you get there?
I think, obviously changing the Constitution, that sort of thing in the United States is a challenge. But just, again, I think we have to think about it a little bit smaller scale. Collecting information in meetings and listening to everybody's voice, different individual voices in a particular neighborhood, summarizing that information, but yet preserving the detail, and then being able to feed it to other neighborhoods and feed it up, because I'm not saying this replaces a representative democracy. Maybe it supplements it so that the representatives have actual good factual information, but it has to be condensed, right? You can't, no representative or mayor or governor can know every single thing or has the time to listen to every single individual conversation, but an AI can collect that information, can be sitting there in a meeting and pull in everything that everybody said, and you know how much information gets lost in any kind of a meeting.
Oh, yeah.
It can summarize all, aggregate, sorry about that, maybe aggravate also.
Sure.
But aggregate information, but yet maintain the differing opinions that were expressed and be able to feed that up to a mayor or representative and then feed it back down again to the other elements. So I think that, there's some potential.
I get it. I think that's pretty cool, actually. Yeah, neat. All right. Well, I appreciate you sharing that. Look forward to your article. I'm sure you're going to extend your thinking on that.
I will.
All right. Talk to you soon.
All right.